Good morning. I'm now looking at debugging this situation. What's going on with these frickin' gems when we undo? That was a very simple repro. So I undo, the gem is like the right size, but it's not mounted on my guy. So all of these are supposedly serialized members. Which means, oh wait, size T target is not. Okay. So here's the thing. We set size T to size T target. Size T target itself is not saved. This doesn't really explain all the buggy behavior we've seen, but it's one of them. I'm just going to save that for now. Fuck it. Why do we have so many commanders? What's going on? Oh, I just refreshed Twitch chat. There it all goes. There it all goes. All right. That didn't help at all. What if we just have one? Why am I not having a problem with one gem? Why am I not having... It was so easy to repro before. What is going on? Okay, is it that for some reason... No. I thought it was like, oh, because we leave another one, but that's not the case. Okay, according to this, it's in my inventory. Here it's not. Here it is. This is the missing one. We don't draw all the frickin' members. I don't have a way to turn them on. Oh, we can show the mount though. So it's mounted. Okay. Its mount parent ID is set to the guy. It is, however, not updating. So there was something that we had to do about is it in the moving entities array? Probably not. What did we do about, I don't remember what we did about that the other day. When we picked stuff up, there was a thing we had to do. Oh, well, we had to add it to the mount tracker. Right, that's what's missing. Okay. So the undo system, in general, if we change a mount, is not going to get that correct right now. We don't need it to be super correct. What we do need to do is notice, okay. If we make an entity, okay, when we're creating an entity, okay. If it's mounted and I don't understand why this worked on other levels. It's weird. Anyway. Oh, maybe if it was in the moving entities array for its own reasons. Okay, that's for a creation. That's not going to fix our current bug. Although let's see if register entity does this. No. Oh, this does. Oh, and we need to do it in the editor also. Register entity does that. Okay. So this actually isn't the problem. This is redundant. Anyway, the problem is not an entity creation. It's when we modify the mount status of an existing entity, right? Which happens down here. We'll debate about whether when we destroy an entity. No, we really should do that. I'm going to write this down. Remove on destroy. Okay, anyway. So if it had a mount parent ID, we move it from the mount tracker, and then maybe we add it back. Note that most of the time our mount parent ID didn't change, so we are spending CPU. Okay, let's do this. Old parent ID is e.mount parent ID. Let's do that. Okay. Then after we apply the diff, if old mount parent ID is not equal to e.mount parent ID, which is the new one, right? So if the old mount parent ID was non-zero, we remove the dependency, right? And then if the new mount parent ID is non-zero, we add the dependency. All right, like that. Now, how much testing do we have to do to convince ourselves it's fixed? Looks fixed. What did I just do? That was weird. Okay, so we'll go downstairs and we get gems. And we put a bunch down. So that issue about slots turning off. All right, let's see. Okay, that's still happening. For some reason, when we put gems down, we are turning off neighboring slots. Under some conditions, which is very strange. But one bug at a time. All right. Can we repro this here? so that we could just boot this level up. Yes. Okay, so doesn't seem to happen as readily here, but as long as we can get it to happen. Like right there. So we're going to make a debug build. We're going to break in change slot power to false. Try to figure out what's going on there. Why aren't the gems rotating anymore? They don't rotate until they're all powered on. And these are not powered on because of that bug. There, now they rotate. And we fixed the thing where these guys were rotating also. These guys now don't rotate. First anniversary as a pro streamer, seriously. I need 1 month and 4 days. Well, I don't know. What do pro streamers do for their 1 month anniversary? I don't really know. Thanks, Beelzebozo time. Right on. Because looking at other people's stuff on the road, you still have to go devalue the experience for you. Why does that always happen? Why does it devalue the experience? Why does having more progress to make devalue the progress that you have made? Stream for another month, yeah. Some people do 24-hour stream. We could do 30-day stream. No, we're not going to do that. Not going to do that. Okay, so we definitely That's so weird. Oh, I know why it is. I bet I can debug this without running the debugger. It's because we call change slot power even for gems that are attached. When we say gem moved, yeah. Okay, I know what it is. Here's the problem. This gem moved function was written not knowing anything about gems being in your inventory or not. And when we call it, it's clearing out the old slot power position for where it thinks the gem was. Now, if the gem was in your inventory, then it shouldn't be affecting the power state of anything on the ground, but it is. Is that an update physical position that calls this? Yeah. So this is annoying. Oh no, no. Okay. Let's verify that this is the problem. It seems to me very likely that it's the problem. But let's confirm so that we don't wild goose chase. Okay, so we're going to look for, wait, why am I running the compiler here? That's not what I want. Wrong program. So we're looking for change slot power to false. All right. Whoa. Wait, on the first drop? Oh, it is from update physical position. That's what I thought. Why did I think then that it wasn't? Okay, so here's the thing. We're dropping a gem out of our inventory. I mean, I could pass a from inventory variable from all the way back here. This is going to be relevant if we have any other inventory objects as well, which we probably will never have this much of an issue. So when I say update physical position, I could pass a thing that says, hey, we're coming from or to the inventory. For mobile, would you go for iOS or Android? I don't know. They're both a pain in the ass to develop for. The difference is, I mean, if you're trying to keep a business going on iOS, you might actually make money, although that's hard. On Android, it's basically impossible. So unless you run an exploitationary business model, I would just stay away from mobile, honestly, unless you're making something the utility of which is that it's on mobile especially. Okay. So when we call update physical position, we could say it could be coming from the inventory. It could be going to the inventory. I mean, I guess I'm going to do that. I don't have a better idea. This may not be the best way to solve it. It's not even about casino things. It's like just all these mobile games are pretend games. They're not really games, right? They're excuses to get you to watch ads or pay microtransactions. I'm not very interested in that. Yeah, and technically speaking, it's a bummer of an environment to work in, from the joy of programming side, and there's no good reason for it. It's just that all the tools are really bad, and then they add extra tools involved in signing and deploying on the thing. When in reality, it's just a computer. It's a pretty cool computer. It's like a very small, fits in your pocket, super high-tech advanced computer, but they've made it just a super bummer to do anything for. It's not fun. Yeah, mobile games are not really games. I hate to say that, but it's true. In general, of course, there's nothing preventing a particular mobile game from actually being a game, and some are, but like, in general, what is made for that platform and called games is not really games. So, what is this goblin kill timer? That doesn't make sense. The hell is that for? Oh, it's how long they look at you after they killed you. I got it. I got it. What's up, people? All right, so I think I would do a new desktop operating system before doing a new phone platform. Okay. So if it's a gem, you have to double check in the other file that we're not calling this redundantly. I don't know. This is still a little bit iffy, but all right, move. Oh, gem moved. Does anyone call this? Okay, this calls that. This calls that. Okay. Okay, so okay. So if we're not coming from inventory, then we search around. I think we just need that. I'm not sure. Who knows, man? Hey, look, all the slots are on. Great. Seems to work. Let's do a Benny test. There are better languages that make things easier for the developer. Yeah, but like web languages don't actually make things. See, here's the thing where people are confused. People confuse managed language with having libraries that make it convenient to get things done, right? And those are relatively orthogonal things. It's just they've been related because the managed languages are newer, and so people put more effort into libraries and stuff, okay? But like the ease of use of web languages, for example, has nothing to do with them being shitty languages. In fact, the fact that they're shitty languages actually makes them harder to use than they would otherwise be. So I think it's important for people to understand that. All right, we'll let that run for a while. Curious what my thoughts on Flash games were? I don't have any thoughts about Flash games. I do not think about Flash games. Why don't I use MX Browns? I don't know. Why should I? What do I think I would need for a 3D model file format? A lot of the standards seem to be really bad. The standards are really bad, and the reason is just, I mean, there's a bunch of reasons, but I think the most fundamental one is that people want a format for different reasons. And therefore, anytime you have different people who want something for different purposes, trying to make a common thing, you get something that's like the space shuttle, right? Or the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. Like, you don't want to do that, right? You want to know what the purpose of your format is, and then design the format for that purpose. And so that's what we do. You know, we have our own custom file format. It's very simple. It does only what we need it to do, and therefore it's a good format. Did I find the great new laptop already? No, they're all garbage as far as I can tell. MX Browns have that tactile feel of blues. I don't think I agree. They don't feel the same to me. I mean, maybe I wasn't using a good keyboard, but it didn't feel the same to me. What is my opinion about TypeScript? I don't have an opinion about TypeScript. Did I see Endgame? No, I don't watch superhero movies anymore. I do not watch superhero movies. Life is too short. There are too many infinity items to do in game development for me to go watch superhero movies. If I'm going to go see a movie, I'm going to at least try and... If I'm going to go see a movie, I at least want to know that there's some possibility that it's going to be a good movie. Okay, let's put it that way. What was my opinion on Anno 1800? It just didn't click with me. It didn't seem like they put enough work into... Like, it seemed like a game on an aging engine where the people involved in shipping the game were no longer the people who knew how things worked, and it was like barely limping along. Um, and it just felt really bad to play for that reason. Um, but you know, civilization is collapsing, so it's no surprise. It's just this usual thing. Should write and write and exported for a DCC like Blender or convert from FBX to custom format? We just make an exporter, so we use Maya or 3D Studio Max. I think we use exclusively Maya right now. I'm not sure, honestly, but we just have exporters that we use that write our own file format. I bump in that new Vampire Weekend album. I don't know who Vampire Weekend are. When am I going to stream compiler programming? When I feel like it. You know, right now we're doing a run on game stuff. It'll be time to switch back to compiler at some point. Anno missions were like, do exactly this, not here's a problem and solve it. Seemed really boring. Yeah. I mean, from what I remember, it was all just like, get this many population, or I don't know. It was just like, it was just a bunch of tedious busy work to play the game. I don't know. Like whatever you do, I haven't really played a city builder thing in a long time, and that was like city builder plus naval tactics or something. I haven't played a city builder for a long time, so I don't really have opinions on the genre anymore, but how do you like make it joyful and creative and not like doing homework, right? I just felt like I was doing homework in that game. Superhero movies are a dangerous business. I think that's true. Would I ever write a novel? Maybe. Not anytime soon. I don't know what it would be. City Skylines, you feel, nails the options of giving you creative freedom without the management busy work. I would believe it. I remember seeing that game apparently be super popular on Steam a couple years ago or whenever it came out. So, yeah, I believe it. Gravity's Rainbow 2 Electric Boogaloo. Okay, I would read that. As awful as I'm sure it would be.
Telling the truth can be dangerous business.
I would read Gravity's Rainbow 2.
Honest and popular don't go hand in hand. If you admit that you can play the accordion, no one will hire you in a rock and roll band. But we can't sing our hearts out. And if we're lucky, with no neighbors complain.
What do I reference as homework for games? It's hard to describe. It's hard to define. It's just, if you're just giving me a to-do list and say do the things on the to-do list, that's just really boring. I'm just not interested in that. And unfortunately, this is where I start getting flamed by people, but there are cultural differences here. For example, a lot of Japanese games are basically just to-do lists, and I don't like it. Some of them aren't, right? Some of them are actually heavily unguided, good luck, buddy, we're putting you in a hard situation, and those tend to be a lot more fun for me. But the ones that are not only just like homework assignment to-do lists, but like with also, character dialogue that like ploddingly over explains every step of the to-do list, it just drives me nuts. But there's something in Japanese culture where that's like the expectation. Like the expectation is that the task is formally framed in detail so that you can be reasonably expected to complete it or something. I don't know exactly what it is because I didn't grow up in Japan. But it really results in something that for an American, it's usually not something I want to play. And again, not all Americans feel that way for sure. A lot of Americans like those games, but I don't. And it doesn't mean that there aren't good elements of those games. It just means that they're bundled together in a way that I really don't enjoy, right? That makes it into homework. You've noticed that with Asian MMOs as well. A lot of their gameplay is centered around grindy, monotonous actions performed over and over. I think that's true, although to be fair, Western MMOs are like that too. The Asian MMOs might be more like that, but I mean, I can't think of a Western MMO that was like based on being creative and inventively solving problems. All right, well, same 3 levels failed as usual. So that's great. We're going to say fix more gem problems. Okay, good. Good. Well, that was as much as I had planned to stream this morning, and we're not even up to an hour worth of stream. Okay, let's try this thing that we were talking about. Where was that? I think we can get rid of this line. Okay. Now this is, we don't have any automated tests for synthetic gems right now, because we don't have any synthetic gem levels. I don't think. We might, but I'm just cheating and giving myself some. And okay, that didn't work. I don't know if that happened because of the changes I just made. Both my synthetic gems are targeting that. Let's try this. Wait. I don't think that's going to matter because that's only turning it to false. We need it to be true here. So I think we broke it in some other way. Yeah. Okay, that's good. We need to detect this now. So we could break here and see what happens in gem moved, but let's just say update physical position. Okay, this is not doing what we thought, so we're going to put a breakpoint there. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let's start on this level at least. We've got our old breakpoint that we do not care about. Okay. All right. So, 17 whatever, line 1721. Okay. If it's a gem, okay. This was my old hack from the other day that is interacting with my new thing, so we've got to clean this up. Okay. So we need to call gem moved down here. We could either just do that here as well, or we could try to unify these two bits of code. Okay. I feel like here we can just say if we're not going to the inventory, add to grid. And we could say, we can even add an assertion here. That it's not attached to anything. Although this might be overly picky in terms of the order of operations. Because it's like, if it's attached, do you set the unattached? Let's not put this yet. This is a thing we could do. I'm not sure if we want to be that picky. Okay. So if we're not going to inventory, add it to the grid. Yeah, and then this also, like what's in this routine could be mostly reordered, I think, to be clearer. I'm not sure what would be clearer at this time, but I feel like maybe that's fine. Let's find out. Didn't work. Interesting. I expected that to work. Update physical position. I didn't. The whole point of this was to delete this, and then I didn't delete that. So obviously, it is still going to do the thing that I didn't want it to do. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? All right, gems. Go over here. Hey, that works. So one of my synthetic gems occupied the slot, and the other one is over my head. That's great. Okay. We unbroke synthetic gems. That said, this is a precarious enough change. We're going to run an entire new test on our release build again. Wait, sounds was not able to find gem inactive? Really? Really? I guess we never made a sound for that. I never noticed. All right. Well, let's just make a sound for it. And it might be, I feel like it's kind of redundant, which is why we didn't ever do it. Because there's also like depowering slots. But let's make one anyway. Gold wave. And it's going to be super sophisticated. Can't have that much of a tail on it. Whoa, wait, what? No. Okay. effect, volume, fade out. And then reverse the sound. Save as. Actually, let's flange it a little bit. Because I don't have headphones on and the window's open, I can't really hear this, but I don't care. I just want a sufficiently different sounding sound. There's probably too much delay on the head of this still, so. Oops. I should learn how to use like a serious audio editing program. It's just that the same way as with Photoshop, like I know now in this program how to do the most common, oh crap, I saved it over active. I want to save this as inactive. Good thing we have source control on our binary assets. So we're going to add that. We're going to revert that. All right. Whatever, we don't actually care that much. Yeah, it's like a short sound because we cut off all the... It's okay, we got rid of the error. Oh yeah, release build, and we're going to do a full test again. If the soundtrack is an original score by Brian Eno. No, it won't be. So that's a very random comment to make. Oh, before we do the release build test, our whole point that caused us to notice this problem is we'd wanted to get rid of this line. So let's do that. Oh, wait, promise 3, not 1. The rendering of these is so glitchy. That's like a whole different bug. I don't think that one's my fault. I feel like that's a shader thing. I'm not sure. I'll talk to people about shaders in a little while. Anyway, so now we have this weird situation where this whole synthetic gem thing, it's essentially just like the inventory, except they're spinning above my head, but it's implemented by totally different code. Actually, not totally different now because we just unified it a little bit. But I wrote down on my list here to unify those completely so that we use the same inventory scheme for those gems, except different. Same but different. Instead of different but different. What is a synthetic gem? Well, I can't spoil everything about the game. I mean, the game's not even announced. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? If you want a betting tab, let's go. Will it be announced this year? Unlikely. Unlikely. Possible, but unlikely. Whenever anyone asks for spoilers, just say telling the truth is dangerous business. Yes, that would be a way to answer the question and also teach a life lesson at the same time. Telling the truth is dangerous business. Honest and popular don't go hand in hand. The new Smart Games E3 show, yeah, that's not a thing. That's not a thing, and you know that's not a thing. Do I have access to the PS5 yet? I don't even know if it's legal to say whether we do or not based on our previous agreement with Sony for the PS4. It's possible that even answering that question would be a treasonous crime against Sony. I will just say, I wish that console platform holders considered independent developers to be more important and gave us access sooner than they do. No, they announced the PS5 actually. It was really weird. It was not, I mean, I guess they didn't officially announce if it's called the PS5 or not, which is something I don't know because I don't know any more than anyone else. But they did this weird thing where they announced it in a Wired interview or something. That didn't make sense to me. Can I talk about the rumored SSD? Is it going to be useful for a developer? Yes. If what they actually release is anything like what they said, it's going to be super useful. My biggest issue with the PS4, I think PS4 is a really good console, but the hard drive is really slow. We knew it was going to be slow before the thing launched, and it's freaking slow. Like, it's so much slower than my PC at loading files. It's astonishing, and it's, to me, is the one weak spot in that entire console. If they had done that differently, they would have won the console generation even harder than they did. And people would have enjoyed games on their system. I mean, think of games like Bloodborne or whatever that were very, not exactly ruined, but were a lot less fun because you spend all your time on a loading screen. And think about what that means when that goes away. You spend a good minute per loading in Horizon Zero Dawn on a PS4 Pro. That shouldn't happen anymore in 2018. I agree. And, you know, the launch of the console is sort of the main time that you have to get speed improvements and things like that. Because the guys... Here's the thing. Here's the dirty secret about all game consoles, right? They have a life cycle of many years, right? And over the course of those many years, the console manufacturer has to solve a lot of logistics problems, right? They have to ship a lot of consoles to people, which means they have to manufacture them in a timely manner. They have reliability, you know, rates to keep up and all that. And that means, well, and they have to get the price down over time. It means they're constantly juggling the supply chain and swapping out parts and things like that. And something that's very modular, like a hard drive, is not actually going to be the same on every, for example, PS4. Like, I don't remember for sure, but I think at launch there were like 2 or 3 different hard drives that could have been in there. And then, you know, as the console evolved and was price reduced and stuff, those were probably swapped out for other ones, right? Now, the thing is, from a machine reliability perspective, they actually, well, I can't say anything specific about Sony, but I will say when there's wide variability in parts, in general, a console manufacturer will throttle those parts to the performance of the slowest one, because that is how you make a reliable machine that behaves the same for everybody, right? Like, if something like the hard drive is a radically different speed on some consoles than other consoles, that's a lot more like the PC, which then makes situations like, you know, like games that shouldn't have weird race conditions and bugs. I mean, well, let's put it this way. A game that has a weird race condition or bug in it, as all games do, sadly, might not exhibit that bug because you tested within a certain performance envelope of drive speed relative to CPU speed and squished those bugs. But if you put it in an environment where there's more variability, you get more bugs that would have been much harder to test for, right? So in general, if your job is to make a reliable machine, you keep specs reliable. And what that means is that you don't, for example, upgrade hard drive speed in the middle of the generation by much, right? I mean, maybe if you did a discrete thing like Xbox One X or PS4 Pro, you allow like one bump, but you don't like gradually upgrade it, even if it turns out that it was way too slow in the beginning. That's all. Do I think loading time could be fixed by NVMe or memory snapshot loading? Dude, loading time on my PC right now is totally fine. You don't need, I mean, advanced technology is welcome, but current generation SSDs, consumer level, that cost not that much, are really fast. Also, I think the previous generation of game consoles, it's not just a hard drive question, but I think in terms of the bus to the hard drive was a limiting factor in some cases. I'm sure, you know, you can go, stuff that I'm saying here is not at all a secret. I'm not allowed to say secrets, but like if you go read some teardowns on the internet, people analyze this stuff to death. Couldn't games be written in a way that different hard drive transfer speeds could just work, like dynamic resolution for the 3D viewport? No, I mean, maybe in some cases, but you're talking about making the software a lot more complex, and it's already too complex, right? It's already too hard to make a game. They're already too buggy and too slow when they're released because they're so complicated, right? So you're saying, couldn't you just make the game more complicated? with regard to a fundamental operation that it wants to do, like accessing data. And I'm like, yeah, you could, but good luck, buddy, shipping anything if you do that. All right. We passed again, so that's great. I don't think we have synthetic gem tests, but whatever. We didn't break anything else than that. More gem updates, which is good. And I feel like this is the end of the morning stream. I mean, I'm sorry. I realize we've only been going an hour, 20 minutes, but I think it's time to maybe get breakfast, go to work, and figure out what to do next, because there's like infinity minus 15 things left to do. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. And I'll see you later. Oh, let's see, because it's the afternoon this time. Let's see if we can raid somebody successfully. We've been having a hard time with that lately, but we're going to science and technology. Watch smart videos to get smart. Going nowhere faster. The days when... No, I'm not going to say anything. Playing and rating games. Game development in C++.
It would be pretty nice. Where you could easily do something like that.
Hey, look, it's a component
and
architecture.
I suppose you could write something along the lines of flat buffer, you know, like a simplified version of flat buffers where all it does is...
We could do that because he's talking. I mean, component architecture, but whatever. Did I fix the compiler error from a couple of days ago? Not yet. That is on the list. All right. Has this guy been stuck on this component thing for weeks? Oh, if so, we won't raid him. That's a bummer.
I would not make my engine too dependent on a lib that I can't replace. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of why I don't like flat buffers, is that it's like...
Well, but that's the thing. That's the reason why every time somebody asks about how do you structure your entity system, I'm just like, dude, that is one of the last things you care about. There's one thing you care about, which is how do you solve the coordination problem when you destroy entities. That's all. Everything else doesn't matter if you're getting an engine up and running, and if you're going to rat hole on that, then you're going to lose. So maybe I won't. If somebody says he's been doing that for weeks, we won't do it. It's really just not... It is not the way. It is not the way. I need to open my Kung Fu school where I teach people how to program and not do that shit. I don't see a lot of like productive game development happening. Survival game, The Mills. Okay, so that's asset making, which is not programming. Maybe he's just learning. That's true, but I don't think that's an effective way to learn. It is a slow way to learn, and it's a way to learn the wrong things. You don't want to learn like that. You want to learn by solving concrete problems. And what that means is implementing a game.
Or block and follow the same example of the
Okay, this guy's doing, I mean, he's using the Godot scripting language, which I've heard is not good, but he's actually programming. A roguelite about flipping coins. I don't know. I don't really see anything. It's a bummer. His first engine shipped as Krea on Steam. Oh, I never played that. Well, if he's already made a game, then that's more of a clue than just sitting around fumbling on an
Just
engine.
skip over that.
But I don't.
And
I mean,
so that's the nice thing about using like something like that.
all right. We're not going to rate him because I said negative things about component systems, so I don't want to send negativity his way. But if you want to watch a stream, you can go watch that. But be nice. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. We'll probably stream again tonight or something. See you later. It's not a joke. Seriously, be nice if you go there.